You know, a lot of people are going to compare this movie to Twilight. I think that's a little unfair. From what I've seen in the world, a romance between a girl and a rotting corpse is more believable than a romance with a girl and a sparkly corpse. So there that is. That's the world we live in, and that is just real. Warm Bodies. I'm just gonna get right down to this. Warm Bodies is a romance between a girl and a zombie amidst the zombie apocalypse. That's what it's about. And you hear that and you think to yourself, yes, it's Twilight with zombies. That's just what I think. That's what everyone thinks, and that's a justifiable reaction. I get it. But there is a little more to this movie than just that. The zombie, the main dude, has inner monologue. You hear his thoughts. He's narrating the movie more or less, and you're like, alright, so does that mean he has cognitive thought? Or his motor function's just slow? And they go for some weird little angle like that, which almost works, but then it really doesn't work because he's acting like a zombie, and you're like, well, why are you acting like a zombie when you can think like a human being? But then you realize that ultimately, if there were still blockbusters in the world that we live in, this movie would be found in the comedy section. It's not really meant to be taken that seriously. Arguing these little semantics is like arguing the fact that the Wile E. Coyote doesn't actually drop off the cliff until he looks down. That's just unrealistic. I do like the fact that this movie does touch on the zombies' perspective of the zombie apocalypse. You always see human beings wiping them out, and they're like, oh, we gotta save humanity, and let's just shoot zombies because they're mindless. The zombies are like, dudes, we have feelings too. I can't actually think to myself that I've seen that before, so I like seeing that. So ultimately in Warm Bodies, the zombie dude sees this girl and he's like, I'm not totally inhuman because, yeah, I kind of have feelings for this chick. And there's a story-based reason for that also, and you actually kind of buy it. You're like, oh wait, okay, I get that. I buy that zombie movie. And so they have to hang out for a few days in close quarters, and so she's like, oh, well, maybe zombies aren't completely inhuman. And then he's like, oh, the more I'm around her, the more human I feel. So it's just kind of this symbiotic relationship they got going on. Does it sound cheesy? Yes. That's just because it is cheesy. But it's a rom-com. It's a romantic comedy. It's coming out around Valentine's Day. I'm just telling you, in terms of Valentine's Day movies, there are 100 worse movies to get dragged to than a movie that's a romance between a girl and a zombie. So I guess in short, this movie is just better than it should have been, but it doesn't mean it's like aces. The director of 50/50 directs this movie, so you know it's gonna have a little more substance to it than it should have. It's not gonna be some undead romance bullshit with sparkly people, well, rotting people instead of sparkly people. The zombie dude's zombie friend, who was like, you know, like the funny douchebag in Hot Tub Time Machine, he was pretty funny too. Yeah, like the zombie is funny. Zombies have humor too. Everyone needs to laugh. They do this thing where even the zombies are really bad. Like zombies have really bad lich zombies, and they're just evil for everything. But they ultimately had to do that because they're like, well, zombies and humans need a common threat, so here are these things. And they clearly exist for that one particular point, and that's it. They're just kind of thrown in the movie like, here. When something is that obvious, it kind of pulls me out of the movie, and I just go, well, okay, there's that. John Malkovich is in the movie. He's the girl's father, and he's just really hardcore. I mean, we're talking just waste all zombies, NRA, badass guy. He was perfect in the movie. I thought he was great in the movie. He worked well. Like, if you're gonna have a zombie apocalypse movie and you need a military guy, do John Malkovich. Why not? The problem is the movie doesn't actually hit one genre with full force. It's part zombie apocalypse movie, part romance movie, part zombie apocalypse action movie, part comedy, part romance, part romantic comedy, but it's not definitively anything. It's like little pieces of a pie that are pretty good instead of one strong piece that's awesome. So in the end, Warm Bodies is enjoyable, it's cute, it's funny. It's not meant to be taken seriously, although it's meant to be taken seriously enough that keeps it from being a full-blown comedy. If you're looking for the next Zombieland or Shaun of the Dead, it's not really gonna be Warm Bodies, but I walked out of the movie going, I did enjoy the movie more than I should have. If you never see Warm Bodies, no one's gonna fault you for it. It's like, oh wait, the premise is a romance between a zombie and a girl, pass. However, for what the movie is, which is a romance between a girl and a zombie, I gotta say Warm Bodies is actually surprisingly a good time, no alcohol required. Maybe the world is ending because this movie was enjoyable, and that was unexpected. As shitty as Twilight, no. I'm gonna snuff that out right now. Is your favorite zombie apocalypse movie ever? What is it? What would it be? Whatever it is, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.